A mysterious and powerful entity appears 30 years ago, surrounded by dark energy, marking the beginning of a cataclysmic event. Monsters began emerging from a portal gate, destroying cities and attacking humans. The monster invasion throws the world into chaos, and another dangerous gate seems to open. A young man, frustrated and full of anger, lashes out at the gate and the hunters responsible for handling them. Showing his despair, the boy vents his frustration, questioning why he has to endure such a miserable life. Feeling abandoned by the world, a police officer tries to stop the boy from jumping, warning him of the danger, but he remains defiant. The boy shouts back at the officer, claiming it's his choice to end his life, showing his deep despair. The officers try to calm him down, but the boy struggles, refusing to listen and venting his overwhelming emotions. The boy screams that no one understands the immense suffering he has endured, highlighting his feelings of isolation. 3 hours earlier, the protagonist is fired from the Bitchin Guild, shocked by the sudden decision. The protagonist pleads, explaining his dedication to the guild and disbelief at being let go. The guild leader dismisses his contributions, stating he hasn't achieved anything significant for the guild. The guild leader reveals he only hired the protagonist for his diligence, but is now disappointed due to his lack of growth as a hunter. The guild leader harshly comments on the protagonist's injury, saying he can't work with someone who's now useless. The protagonist is speechless, struggling to defend himself against the accusations. The guild leader tells him to quit and offers to calculate his severance pay immediately. Desperate, the protagonist vows to find a way to heal his leg and prove he can still work. As the protagonist turns to leave, he encounters someone with intimidating tattoos. A blonde man mocks the protagonist, telling him to leave as per the boss's orders. The protagonist recognizes him, shocked, and calls him Lee Youngjin. The blonde man ridicules the protagonist, mocking his attitude and calling him pathetic. He taunts the protagonist further, suggesting he should use his severance pay for snacks, belittling him as a D-rank hunter. The protagonist snaps, grabbing Lee Youngjin's shirt and accusing him of being ungrateful, stating he got injured saving his life. He reminds Youngjin of his reckless behavior in the dungeon that led to him being poisoned. Further venting his anger, Youngjin laughs dismissively, mocking the protagonist's claims of saving him. He tells the protagonist to stay in his lane, calling him a pack mule and accusing him of not knowing his place. Youngjin questions how someone as weak as the protagonist could even possess an S-rank skill, ridiculing him further. Youngjin mocks the protagonist's skill, explosive growth, jokingly suggesting it only helps with height. He continues to insult, sarcastically pointing out that the protagonist's growth plates are closed, provoking more anger. Furious, the protagonist attempts to punch Youngjin, calling him a punk. Their fists collide, with Youngjin blocking the attack using a shield-like energy barrier. Youngjin taunts him, saying it's time for the protagonist, Taejun, to learn his place. Youngjin throws a powerful punch aimed at Taejun. The punch lands directly on Taejun, sending him flying backward with intense impact. Taejun cries out in pain and shock, visibly overwhelmed by the attack. Taejun accuses Youngjin of acting arrogant just because he started earlier. Taejun sees this confrontation as long overdue. Youngjin punches Taejun with full force, mocking him, saying, "Let's see how tough you are today." The guild leader mocks Taejun, sarcastically labeling his crime as standing up to someone of a higher rank. Other guild members ridicule Taejun for challenging the boss, mocking him for simply being Lee Taejun. Taejun is brutally beaten and collapses to his knees, injured and humiliated. Youngjin looks smug and satisfied, breathing heavily from the confrontation. Taejun lies on the ground, battered and bleeding. A severance envelope is thrown at him with a mocking remark, thanking him for his past 7 years of work. As Taejun sheds tears of pain and humiliation, the final insult is delivered, but let's not see each other again. Taejun leaves a convenience store late at night, carrying a bag, while the clerk bids him goodbye. He walks through the empty, quiet streets under the moonlight, reflecting on his situation. Taejun opens a bottle, likely filled with alcohol, showing his desire to escape his emotions. He drinks deeply, sitting alone, visibly distressed, trying to drown his sorrow. Taejun gazes at the cityscape, enjoying the taste of the alcohol, though it seems bittersweet. He pulls out the severance envelope he received earlier, staring at it with a heavy heart. Taejun laments over the meager severance money, angry and defeated after 7 years of hard work. Feeling there's nothing left for him in the world, Taejun steps onto the edge of a bridge, considering ending it all. Taejun stands on the edge of the bridge, ready to jump, when a holographic window suddenly appears in front of him. The window displays a warning. The user's life is in danger. Please step back from the bridge. Taejun sarcastically responds, questioning why the system suddenly cares about his life now. He angrily addresses the system, blaming it for his suffering over the past 7 years. Taejun punches the holographic window in frustration, blaming the useless skill it gave him. He continues to vent his rage, criticizing the explosive growth skill for failing to improve his stats and questioning how he's supposed to survive with it. The warning reappears, urging him to step back from the bridge, but Taejun remains furious. A red warning appears, stating, "Initiating strike due to baseless violent actions by the owner." Taejun breathes heavily, his emotions boiling over. Laughing hysterically, he mocks the red warning from the system as rain pours down. Taejun challenges the system, sarcastically inviting it to strike him, calling it useless for failing to explain skills properly. In a fit of rage, Taejun hurls his bottle and attacks the holographic warning, shouting for it to disappear. He slumps in defeat, trembling from the overwhelming emotions. Taejun reflects bitterly, lamenting that no matter how hard he tries, nothing changes. He accuses the system of ruining his life, blaming it for not explaining his skill correctly from the start. Taejun screams at the system, enraged that it dares to dictate his actions, even denying him control over his own life. The police are trying to calm Taejun, urging him to come down and talk. Taejun yells at the officers, venting his frustration and expressing his suffering, standing on the edge of a railing. Taejun loses balance, his foot slipping off the railing. Taejun begins falling, looking shocked. As he falls from the bridge, he contemplates his imminent death, thinking, "This is how I die." Taejun reflects that maybe dying is better, given the misery of his current life. A mysterious system or entity acknowledges Taejun's complaint and initiates his transfer to the administrator's server. Taejun is enveloped by a glowing light, likely signifying his transportation to a different realm or scenario. Taejun is surprised and confused as glowing blue digital patterns start surrounding him. Taejun panics, asking what is happening, as the situation becomes more chaotic. Status windows appear, indicating that his system is being updated. Taejun is engulfed in a surge of bright blue energy, seemingly in the middle of a transformation or upgrade. The progress bar shows the update nearing completion, reaching 99%. The update is complete, confirmed by a glowing yellow status message. Taejun wakes up with a bandage on his nose, clearly feeling the aftereffects of something troubling. Sitting on a bench, he holds his head, complaining about a headache. Reflecting on his actions, he regrets drinking too much alone the previous night and vows not to drink again. Taejun recalls falling and suspects something unusual happened. He experiences strange sensations, as if a status window update is happening, confusing him. Laughing at the absurdity of a status window update, Taejun dismisses it as nonsense. He laments being jobless and wonders how he'll make a living. Considering doing day labor, Taejun is suddenly addressed by a glowing girl who knows his name. Shocked by her appearance, Taejun asks who she is, panicked and confused. A glowing girl introduces herself as Miri from the Status Window Management Department. Taejun is shocked and questions if such a department is real. He realizes that the strange events of the previous night were not a dream. Miri explains they investigated his case regarding explosive growth. She humorously admits his outdated status window wasn't working properly. Taejun is stunned, questioning if this was the reason for his struggles. Miri informs him that due to security reasons, she can't reveal further details. She assures him that the issue is now fixed, but Taejun wonders if all his effort was wasted. Taejun gets angry, realizing that all his hard work may have been for nothing. Taejun accuses Miri of making him train in vain for 7 years due to an outdated status window. Enraged, Taejun demands compensation for his suffering and threatens her in anger. Miri panics and explains that she has restored his stats and healed all his injuries to calm him down. Taejun, surprised, realizes that his body has been completely healed. He checks his condition and finds himself in perfect shape, questioning how Miri achieved it. Miri hints that a special trigger is required to activate his explosive growth but cannot explain fully yet. She proposes a partnership to help Taejun achieve his potential. A sudden disturbance occurs as a massive gate opens in the city. A terrifying monster emerges from the gate, and people scramble to call the suppression team to handle the threat. Taejun is shocked and questions how he is expected to deal with the massive monster. He accuses Miri of sending him to his death, while she tries to reassure him, claiming he can handle it. Miri optimistically tells him to give it a shot, saying, "Worst case, you'll just die," trying to sound encouraging. Taejun is left speechless by her casual attitude. The monster, identified as Venom Spore, is described as needing at least a B-rank hunter to defeat, even posing a challenge to skilled suppression teams. Miri promises that defeating the monster will trigger Taejun's explosive growth. Taejun debates whether to trust her or not, finding the task insane. Despite his hesitation, Miri insists the monster isn't in the best condition, trying to convince him further. Taejun remains silent, deep in thought, contemplating his next move. Taejun reflects that his life has always been full of challenges and hardships. He considers running away but feels weighed down by his current situation. Determined, Taejun questions why he is hesitating and resolves to act. Accepting the chaos in his life, he prepares himself for what's to come, reasoning that it can't get any worse. With newfound determination, Taejun confidently declares, "Fine, let's do this." As the suppression team leaps into action, Taejun decides to join them despite his fear. He charges toward the monster, aware of the danger but ready to face it. The venomous monster retaliates, releasing its toxic attack. Taejun counterattacks with fierce determination, unleashing a powerful move against the creature. Taejun successfully attacks the monster, splitting it apart with great force. A notification confirms that the quest, "A Small Step Forward," has been completed. Taejun activates the skill, Undaunted Experience CC, after his victory. The skill, Explosive Growth, is also activated, enhancing his abilities significantly. He questions the simplicity of defeating a junior spore in one hit and wonders about the strange system notifications appearing. His stats are visibly enhanced, showing a dramatic improvement. A status window displays his updated information, revealing his new skills and significantly improved attributes. Miri excitedly asks Taejun how it feels to use Explosive Growth for the first time. Taejun, with a sinister smile, realizes how overpowered the skill is and revels in his newfound strength. Taejun, glowing with power, is warned by a companion not to celebrate yet as his explosive growth is just starting. Taejun's companion motivates him, urging him to keep fighting and eliminate all the monsters. Taejun charges forward, preparing to attack monstrous plant-like creatures. Taejun fiercely throws a powerful punch with determination. Taejun's punch explodes through the monster, splattering it in a burst of energy. Taejun realizes the massive stat boost he gains from defeating each monster, calling it a jackpot skill. Taejun's Explosive Growth skill activates multiple times as he fights, significantly enhancing his stats. Taejun leaps into action against monstrous creatures, evading their attacks while green energy splatters around. Taejun confidently thinks that at this growth rate, He'll surpass B rank and even stronger levels soon. Taejun envisions himself becoming stronger than an A rank hunter as he faces towering enemies. The scene shifts to a peaceful city setting, possibly hinting at where the battle is happening. The suppression team arrives on the scene to control the situation, noticing the aftermath of the battle. A group of hunters regrets missing the action, expressing their frustration. One of the hunters notices Taejun and mocks him, calling him a loser. Taejun holds a glowing pink crystal, surprising others who wonder if he's acting strange or consumed something unusual. The group arrives at the scene, mocking Taejun and questioning if he even knows where he is. The blonde hunter taunts Taejun again, calling him pathetic and predicting his failure. Taejun realizes the group led by Youngjin is also here for the hunt, further complicating matters. Taejun appears cautious and confused, sensing something ominous around him. Taejun's expression shifts to a sly grin, possibly plotting his next move or preparing for a confrontation. Taejun thanks a member of the suppression team, reflecting on his current injured state. The suppression team member acknowledges Taejun's efforts, praising him for preventing a dangerous situation. Taejun laughs it off, modestly saying he was just doing his duty as a hunter. The blonde hunter and another person are shocked, realizing Taejun's true capabilities. A soldier praises Taejun for his incredible performance, saying they couldn't imagine handling the venom spores alone. The blonde hunter, surprised, questions if Taejun really did it all by himself. The soldier confirms Taejun handled everything alone and asks if there's an issue. The blonde hunter and his group are stunned and find it hard to believe Taejun's achievement. Taejun tells the group to leave and assures he'll explain everything later. The scene transitions to an abandoned building, indicating a new setting or upcoming event. The blonde hunter confronts Taejun, asking if he truly managed everything by himself. The blonde mocks Taejun, doubting that a D-rank hunter could achieve such a feat. Taejun remains silent, standing unfazed despite the insult. A glowing notification startles Taejun, hinting at a new event or quest. Taejun reads the quest details, which challenge him to teach the disrespectful juniors a lesson in exchange for an A-rank skill. Taejun realizes the reward is an A-rank skill, a significant opportunity for him. Taejun smiles darkly, thinking about how he can get both revenge and a skill by completing the quest. Taejun apologizes sarcastically to the group, preparing to take action. Taejun sarcastically apologizes and asks if they mind if he beats them up. The blonde hunter is stunned and confused by Taejun's statement. Taejun dramatically pretends to cry, saying he's not good at sugarcoating things. Taejun repeats his challenge, asking once more if he can teach them a lesson. The group mocks Taejun, thinking he's gone mad or joking around. One of the group members angrily lunges at Taejun, demanding he stop talking nonsense and answer. The attacker emphasizes that in this world, those who commit crimes should be punished, delivering a strong blow. Taejun is grabbed by the head as someone questions if he's serious. The attacker prepares to punish Taejun but realizes something is wrong as he can't move properly. Taejun, with a dark smile, taunts the attacker, telling him to take his punishment like he deserves it. The attacker is shocked, unable to understand what's happening. Taejun strikes the attacker, sending him collapsing with one blow. Taejun easily overpowers the attacker, leaving him stunned and collapsing to the ground. The others are shocked, questioning what just happened. The others are confused, questioning why the attacker collapsed so suddenly. Taejun casually gestures for the rest of the group to come at him, inviting them one by one. Taejun menacingly smirks, daring them to endure just one flick on their foreheads for bullying their senior. The group questions Taejun's confidence and his intent to flick them, finding it ridiculous. Taejun flicks one member's forehead with enough force to cause intense damage, sending blood gushing. Taejun unleashes powerful attacks, effortlessly taking down multiple opponents. Another member suffers a devastating blow as Taejun displays overwhelming strength. The blonde hunter is stunned, questioning why his group is losing so easily. Taejun dismisses the idea that it's a joke and approaches the blonde hunter menacingly. Taejun calls out Youngjin directly, asking if he finds the situation amusing. Taejun declares he might let the others go but won't spare Youngjin. Taejun taunts Youngjin, saying a simple flick isn't enough for him and warning him to get ready. Youngjin, enraged and clenching his teeth, swears revenge, calling Taejun dead meat. Youngjin activates an ice ability, surrounding himself with sharp icicles and a cold aura. He mocks Taejun, assuming he has gained some physical enhancements, and warns him not to get overconfident. Youngjin arrogantly declares that Taejun is the one who's in trouble. Taejun observes the ice missiles and sarcastically questions when Youngjin learned such a skill. Taejun reveals that he, too, has just learned a new skill, showing flames igniting in his hand. A massive explosion of fire erupts as Taejun prepares to test his newly acquired ability in a grand display of power. A rank skill that is stronger than normal fireballs and reduces the target's healing ability. He is stunned by the fireball's sheer intensity, calling it incredible. Taejun jokingly admits he's new to the skill and advises Youngjin to be cautious. The fireball unleashes a massive, fiery explosion, showcasing its destructive power. Youngjin feels the overwhelming heat and realizes the power of the fireball. The fireball creates a huge fiery blast, leaving a crater. Youngjin, charred and exhausted, struggles to breathe and process what happened. He's confused but relieved, questioning how he managed to survive such destruction. Taejun jokes about Youngjin being so scared that he looks like he wet himself. He tells Youngjin to stop bullying guild members and be more respectful. Terrified, he promises to change and never bully anyone again. Taejun charges energy in his finger, hinting at a playful but intimidating move. Taejun suggests there's still something left to deal with, keeping the pressure on Youngjin. A cheerful narrator introduces herself and promises to explain what happened in the previous episode. Taejun gains a new status window ability, unlocking powerful skills to fight back. He uses his newfound strength to stand against those who tormented him. Taejun successfully takes revenge on his bullies. The narrator hints that Taejun might have pushed his power too far, and he collapses. Taejun lies unconscious, exhausted from overusing his abilities. Despite his state, the narrator urges him to head to the dungeon. Taejun has been unconscious for 3 days, and the narrator questions if he can overcome this challenge. Taejun is lying on his bed, suffering from intense pain after pushing himself too hard. He's frustrated and tells others to be quiet. The narrator is relieved Taejun is awake, but he explains he overused his mana, leading to his current state. Taejun admits he was reckless and got carried away with his newfound strength. He resolves to focus on improving his mana. The narrator acknowledges Taejun's rapid growth, but questions whether he truly needs to focus only on mana. Taejun clarifies that his extraordinary growth boosted all his stats except mana, which is now his priority. Taejun explains that his skills, like the fireball, consume a lot of mana, forcing him to prioritize increasing it to avoid future collapses. The narrator wonders if there's a specific way to raise just his mana more efficiently. Taejun notices that he has a set recovery time of 8 hours and 30 minutes before he's back to full strength. A massive tower designed for training and improving mana is shown. Taejun explains to the narrator that the Tower of Training is a well-known dungeon where beginners go to boost their mana. Despite being famous, the narrator notices the tower is oddly empty and questions why no one else is there. Taejun recalls the tower being popular a few years ago, but wonders if it's no longer in use. Taejun and the narrator spot an old man in the tower, surprising them. The old man tearfully mistakes Taejun for someone he refers to as Granny. Taejun and the narrator are bewildered by the old man's behavior, finding it strange. Taejun formally requests the old man for the Tower of Training quest, but the old man mishears it as fast food. Taejun clarifies he's talking about a quest, not fast food, but the old man misunderstands again. The old man finally understands Taejun is here for the tower's quest. The old man agrees to guide Taejun and the narrator through the tower of training. The narrator feels uneasy about the situation, but Taejun reassures her, saying he's prepared. The old man starts explaining the mechanics of the tower to Taejun and the narrator. The tower is divided into 10 stages, and clearing all of them will complete the quest. Taejun guesses the first task is to defeat 10 goblins, and he's correct. The old man acknowledges Taejun's guess with a cheerful response. Taejun impresses the narrator with his knowledge of the tower, claiming no one knows its strategies better than him. Taejun reveals he studied dungeon strategies on YouTube and memorized them, even though he couldn't go on real expeditions. Taejun confidently declares the beginner dungeon will be easy for him, earning admiration from the narrator. Taejun mutters to himself, and the old man overhears, prompting Taejun to play it off as a joke. They reach the first trial area, and the old man prepares to summon monsters. The old man struggles dramatically while summoning monsters for the trial. The old man nervously announces the arrival of the monsters, completing the summoning. Taejun and the narrator are fired up to face the challenge, confident that defeating 10 goblins will be easy. Movement in the bushes indicates something approaching, creating tension. Instead of goblins, large ogres and a few goblins emerge with a loud roar. Taejun, the narrator, and the old man face a massive crowd of ogres and goblins, far beyond what was expected. Taejun and the narrator are shocked at the situation, jokingly calling it bulking season. Taejun questions why the goblins appear to be oversized ogres, asking the old man for an explanation. The old man, lost in thought, mentions kimchi stew, completely ignoring the situation. Realizing the old man might be senile, Taejun is visibly annoyed and doubtful of the old man's capabilities. The ogres begin their attack with another fierce roar, escalating the tension. Taejun and the narrator panic as the monsters rush toward them, increasing tension. Taejun uses a powerful fire attack to hold back the ogres, showcasing his abilities. Taejun boldly challenges all the goblins and ogres, declaring he'll defeat them all. The fire attack devastates the monsters, burning them to ashes. Taejun surveys the burning battlefield, satisfied with his attack's impact. Taejun celebrates his success, but the narrator warns him there are still more monsters left. A massive ogre towers over Taejun, wielding a giant weapon, taking the battle to a new level. The giant ogre swings its weapon, landing a powerful blow on Taejun, catching him off guard. Taejun faces off against an ogre and prepares for a fight. The ogre attacks, and Taejun responds with determination, challenging its strength. Taejun skillfully dodges the ogre's powerful strike. Taejun spins, preparing a counterattack. He delivers a powerful blow to the ogre's head, drawing blood. The ogre roars in defeat as Taejun stands confidently. Notifications appear, confirming the completion of Stage 1 and increased experience. The old man, impressed by Taejun's swift completion of the first stage, acknowledges his achievement while flames blaze in the background. Taejun looks surprised but takes in the comment. The old man teases Taejun, suggesting the first stage was easy. Taejun nervously pretends it was harder than it seemed, masking his frustration. The old man casually suggests moving to the next stage, frustrating Taejun. Monsters appear, stronger and in overwhelming numbers, challenging his mental resilience. Taejun faces a giant beast, feeling the intense physical and mental pressure. Taejun realizes why no one dares to challenge this place anymore. He yells in frustration, calling the dungeon impossible to clear and referring to it as hell. Someone pleads for mercy, revealing Taejun's name as they face the tower. Taejun reaches the final stage, facing an ominous silhouette. The final boss is revealed, a massive hellhound Cerberus, ranked S and level 90. Taejun is horrified, sweat dripping as he reacts to the terrifying scene. Taejun realizes the final boss isn't a simple dog as expected, but an overwhelming threat. Taejun gives up, believing he can't defeat the boss, even with multiple lives. He's out of mana and struggles to find a way to continue. a hidden quest appears, tasking him with curing a senile NPC to restore order. Taejun reads the hidden quest details and begins thinking. He realizes the dungeon relies on the old man's unstable mana. The old man's loss of mana control causes the monsters to grow stronger. Taejun decides that if he can return the old man to normal, he can clear the dungeon. Taejun shares his plan with the spirit, but he's uncertain if it will work. Taejun gathers his resolve, deciding to give it a shot. He recalls that uncontrolled mana can drive powerful mages insane. Taejun notices the tangled strands of mana in the old man's mind. Taejun approaches the old man, ready to act. The spirit is shocked and asks Taejun what he's doing. Taejun channels his focus, preparing to fix the old man's mana. He starts calming the old man, who begins to relax. Taejun jokingly calls it nirvana, while continuing his task. Taejun redirects the scattered mana back into the old man's head, stabilizing him. Taejun checks on the old man, determined to fix the broken mana flows. A massive pink energy blast emerges, alarming the spirit. The pink energy intensifies, threatening Taejun and the old man. Taejun desperately shields the old man, bracing himself. The energy surges out of the tower, creating a massive explosion. The old man regains consciousness, apologizing for the trouble caused by his body. The old man transforms into a muscular and revitalized version of himself. Taejun is shocked, questioning the old man's new appearance. The old man expresses clarity and refreshment, thrilled to be himself again. The revitalized old man confidently stands, emitting a powerful aura. A view from above shows the final battle arena, with the red beast still present. The old man expresses his gratitude to Taejun, calling him his benefactor and offering to grant any request. This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.